Welcome, guys. The question here is actually based on vector. So, considering this question, which says that given the vector a to be equals to this expression and vector b equals to this, now the question instructed us to find the following: find the addition, the subtraction, the scalar product, the vector product, and the magnitude of the vector product. So, for you to calculate the addition of the two vectors is very, very direct. You can just go ahead and sum these two together, then sum this together, and then finally sum this together to get a final answer, which is very, very direct and very easy to solve. And then, and then the same thing goes for the subtraction and for the scalar product. Scalar product is just trying to tell you that, well, by the time you multiply this and this together, using the scalar product, you have 20. Then I dot I simply implies I square, and I square is what? Is 1. I dot I is 1. So this gives us 20. By the time you impose a scalar product on these two, you also have just 2. Okay. So I believe you can all add vectors together and do that. But the main aspect now is that how will you be able to find the cross product under 1 minute? You can decide to use the Casio FS99YES Plus to get the correct answer to that. So you can easily make use of this calculator to get the final answer without any stress. So how will you go about that? The first thing we need to do now is to click on the on button, and then after that, we're actually dealing with vectors. So I will have to change the mode of this calculator into vector mode. Then how will you do that? As you can see, there's a mode button here. Click on mode button. Trivially, the first thing you see is the computer mode, the complex mode, the statistics mode, the number base mode, the equation mode, matrix, table, and then vector. So I believe you know what I'm going to click. I need vectors since I'm dealing with vector. So vector is for number 8. So you go ahead and press this number 8 button. So when you press number 8, you don't have any business with what you have here. Just go ahead and remove all this by pressing the AC button. This is the AC button here. So as you can see, there's VCT, which implies that this calculator is on vector mode. And the next thing for us to do is we need to locate how to get this vector. And to get into the vector mode, there is another vector on this case, which is on button number 5. This color and this shift color matches each other. So I'll have to press this shift button and then press 5. Hence, you notice that I have DIM displaying, which is the dimension, 2 is the data, VCTA is vector A, vector B, vector C, vector of answer, then the dot product. Now, here in this case, for me to input this question into this calculator, I will need my dimension. Dimension simply implies I have 3 dimension here, which is IJK. That's 3D. But if the question just come in form of just I and J, by the time I press dimension, I'll pick 2D dimension. So here in this case, all I'll just have to do is click on I, the first one rather. The first one simply implies the input of your question. Why this vector A, vector B, vector C implies the output you have already. So dimension is 1. So it's the question for which vector you want to input. I want to input for vector A. Go for 1. You can't deal with 3 at once. So you have to go for the first one, which is vector A, 1. As you can see, it's asking for the dimension. Is it 3? Is it 2? Is it IJK, or it is just IJ? So here in this case, we have IJK. So I'll go for the third one, which is number 1, which is 3. So now, as you can see, we have a row, which implies that this is the first column, second column, third column. This is for vector A, such that we have to put in their coefficient for each unit direction. For I, the coefficient is 2, so I have to put 2 here. For J, I have -1, so I have to input -1 here. And for K, I have 2, so I have to put 2 here. So here in this case, all we have to do now is to input their coefficient. And how will you go about that? Press 2. By the time you press 2, the 2 displays down here, but not inside the box we have here. So for you to move this 2 into this box, just press equal to button. And then we have -1 also. equal to button, then it goes inside the box, and finally with 2. So when you are done with this, you can decide to take this off. You can just press AC button to clear the screen. So do not worry. Calculator has already captured your what? Your data that you just input. And then the next thing for us to do is to input the vector, the expression for vector B. So you go through the same process, shift and this 5 button, because I have a vector sign here. Dimension, because I want to input my vector for A, 1. Vector B, right? That's 2. Direction, the dimension is ijk, which is 1. And I'll input the coefficient, which is, I'll input the coefficient, which is 10 minus 2, and then 10 equal to minus 2 equal to 7 equal to. So when you are done with that, you can decide to clear the screen by pressing this AC button. So what's the next thing? Let me start with this vector product, or possibly let's start with the beginning. It is advisable you use how to solve it when it comes to addition. That's very, very fast. Subtraction, yes, that's very fast. For scalar product, you can still make use of a calculator if you are not sure of what you want to do. So I would advise you to, okay, here in this video, I'll try to make sure that I solve for everything using this calculator. So how will I compute vector A and B together, the addition? So the same process, shift and 5, okay? You can't just write A on the calculator. The only thing you could write on the calculator is just vec A plus vec B, which implies vector A plus vector B. So the vec A is what you are seeing, the vect rather, the VCT, the VCT, the vector A is what you are seeing on number 3, plus shift and 5 again, so that you'll be able to display the one for the second vector, which is vect B. Do you see that? So by the time you press equal to sign, we will end up having our final answer that, okay, A plus B, the result gives us what you are seeing here. If you can't see this clearly, but you can see it here, this is 12, this is 12, okay? So remember that I said this column is for column I, column J, column K. So I have 12I, okay? Next, minus 3, if you can't see it very, that's minus 3J, then plus 9K, which is very, very true, and it is very, very correct. Is that not true? When you sum it together, 2 plus 10, that's 12. Minus 1 plus minus 2, that's minus 3. 2 plus 7, that's 9. So which is very correct. So you can also do the same thing for A minus B, vector A minus B. So press AC button, the same process, shift and 5, vector A minus shift and 5, vector B. So that gives us minus 8I plus J, which is plus 1J, then minus 5K. So when you subtract, you have this. When you add, you have this result. What if we now deal with the scalar product, which is the dot product? How will you deal with dot product? So I can decide to clear off the screen, shift and 5, vector A. Please and please do not press this decimal button. No. You see, decimal button is down there, but there is a dot here. Shift and 5, see dot on number 7. Dot product. You see the dot is in between, is at the middle after the vector A, not down. As you can see, there's difference between the two dots. Okay, so vector A, shift and 5 again, vector B. So when you do the dot product of those two vectors, you end up having 36. Is that not true? 10 times 2, that's 20. I dot I is 1, that's 20. This will give us plus 2, then plus 9. You end up having 36 when you add it up together. So, but the major work now is, how will you solve this under what? How will you solve A cross B under 1 minute, which is very, very fast if you have input all this into your calculator. It's very, very fast and very, very easier to solve. You know, suppose you want to compute this by hand, you want to calculate this by your hand, you know, you have to write out, okay, I have 3 directions, which is I, J, and K. So this first row will represent the vector you have for A. The coefficient of the vectors for A. What are their coefficients? That's 2, minus 1, and then 2. Then the second row will be for vector of B, the coefficient of vectors of B, and vector of B, that's 10, that's minus 2, and that's 7. So you go ahead and find its determinant, such that you put a plus minus plus here, and you pick this positive I first. You find the minor matrix. When you cut this and this, I will end up having minus 1, 2, minus 2, 7. And then followed by negative J. Find the minor of that matrix, you have 10, 7. And then finally with k, the minor of that matrix is 2 minus 1, 10 minus 2. And you know what to do from here. I plus minus, you cross multiply, minus 7 plus 4, then like that. You see, this requires a lot of steps and stress a little. But with this calculator, I can decide to just give you the straight answer. Just edit this, remove this dot, and then there's no cross in shift and 5 in that mode. You can only press times. You're allowed to use times, which implies vector A cross vector B. By the time you press equal to sign, I can easily tell you that A cross B equals minus 3 is the first result here, which is minus 3i plus 6j, then finally with what? Plus 6k. So guys, this gives the final answer to that. If we solve it by hand, I'm very sure we'll get the same answer. So let's try it out. Minus 1 times 7 is minus 7. Minus times minus is plus. 2 times 2 is 4. Then minus j, 14, plus minus cross multiply, minus 20. Right? And finally with this, which is multiply this plus and minus, and then you have minus 4, then plus 10. So by the time we decide to subtract this, minus 7 plus 4, that is minus 3i. 14 minus 20 is minus 6. Minus 6 times minus, that's plus 6j. Then this will also give us what? Minus 4 plus 10, that is positive 6. That's plus 6k. As you can see, the two results is very correct. The two results gives the same thing. So guys, that's how to use the natural display calculator to solve vectors. So then the last one I'm seeing here is the magnitude. How do you find the magnitude of A cross B? Since you already have your A cross B, to find its magnitude, all you just need to do is to take the square root and you square each of the coefficients of those directions. That's minus 3 square plus 6 square plus this 6 square. This, and this. So how will you be able to do that? Press your AC button, but you won't be able to process the natural display of this calculator except if you remove the vector mode away. And how will you do that? Return this calculator back to the computer mode, which is go to mode, click on computer, which is number 1, and then you have your square root. Then you open a bracket, minus 3 all raised to the power of 2, then positive 6 all squared, then positive 6 all squared, which is very, very fast. Hence, the final answer to this is what? 9. So trivially, we can, it is clearly seen that the magnitude of A cross B is equals to what? Is equals to 9. So guys, I've tried my possible best to show you this, so you can make use of these shortcuts anytime you need it when it comes to computer-based test. So guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. So for the next video I'll be making is I'll make sure that I try some questions. Not another question can come in this form whereby you have A to be equals to, let's say you have t squared plus 1 of I, such that you can make use of a calculator, and then you know that you know what I mean by this. Then let's say minus tj then plus 4k. So you should know how this works. You should be able to solve it using this process. It's not all the time you make use of a calculator, but when you come across this kind of question, it's advisable you make use of your what? Of calculator when it comes to cross products. Okay, so I've tried my possible best to show you this shortcut. So remember to subscribe, and so that you'll be able to get notification on any of my new uploaded videos. Okay, thank you. Thanks for watching.